Ladies and gentlemen, what in the world does culture have to do with anything? Ladies, are we hooking up? Are we smashing? Or not? Let's just cut the bullshit. Let's get to the point. Doc has somewhat picked a somewhat of a minor fight with some of the guys in the P-Way pickup artistry, dating coach community. Nobody cares about me though. But I've often said a couple of things that I kind of combat against. A lot of guys who have talking points about why men or why, it's a crime and why you're a beta if you choose to date abroad or deal with women in other countries and stuff like that as opposed to dealing with women in the US. And like I said, man, I'm the kind of guy, like, I want to vouch for my guys. Like, if you want to travel, you want to meet new girls abroad, I think you should go all the way in. Don't half-ass it, go all the way live. But as a result, I feel like I am the one that is naysaying and or going against members of those particular communities when I say shit like that. Because their talking points. Oh man, y'all just mad because y'all can't get women in the West. You scared of women in the West. You got to go abroad to get pussy and stuff like that. But as a result, I've always made one major point. And I am still waiting until this day for somebody to debunk me on this. And if you found somebody, please share with me a video where this can be proven wrong. But I've always said, if any of these dating coaches, whoever they are, the ones that are preaching adamantly against guys going abroad to meet women and their pussies, their beta or whatever, tell me if your game and the way in which you approach women and deal with women, tell me if that translates the same in another country. Because if your game is universal and it can touch in different countries and still represent in different countries and translate well into different countries, then I can't say anything about it. Because I can almost guarantee that a lot of these guys have yet to take a trip abroad to see what it's like to deal with women abroad, which is why I feel like they make such egregious points and remarks about guys who choose to travel abroad. Okay? So, when we talk about whether it translates well, I can tell you right now, game in the US or the way that we talk to women in the US, it will not work in the Philippines for the most part. I do not see a lot of things translating well, especially the way we talk, the way we kind of talk and deal with women in the US. It just doesn't seem to translate necessarily well in the Philippines. Let me give you a perfect example, right? The choice of words, right? Growing up where I'm from and stuff like that, when you're trying to hook up with a girl, you say words like, yo, you gonna let me smash, you gonna let me hit that or whatever. Blanket statement. Try to say those words to Filipinas and see if it translates well. Just a basic example. Yo, girl, I think you cute. I'm trying to hit that. Girl, I said, yo, I'm trying to smash that. What's good, love? See if you say those exact same words. See if they translate well. Guaranteed, Filipina gonna be confused beyond belief because she don't know those words. Those words don't recognize. They do not translate well. Like, what are you trying to say? What do you mean smash me? Like Hulk smash? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you trying? Like, what does smash mean? Some girls may pick it up, so a lot of them won't because that's not the way you're going to approach women in the Philippines. Being a complete jackass. Also another point that I don't believe translates well in the Philippines. And when I say this, there's a lot of guys who preach, you got to be hard in the yard. You got to be hard on these, you got to be hard, got to keep your pimp hand strong. You got to be hard on these hoes, right? As in, you just got to kind of treat them like shit and be rude to them from time to time, and that keeps them coming back. I believe that does work here in the United States if you ignore them and if you don't give them any attention and stuff like that, and they're wondering why you're not giving them any attention. I've seen that work. For the most part, I believe that does work, depending on how bad you want her and exactly how you implement those particular strategies. In the Philippines, if you ignore them, like that's how you really get to know them in the beginning, or you treat them like shit, or you don't give them any time of day, they just gonna think you're not interested and they just gonna move on. I've seen that happen to quite a few guys. Like, you don't text them, you don't give them any time, you don't talk to them or anything. Shit like that don't necessarily translate well. keeping your pimp ham strong. I understand after you hit it or after you've been with her and, you kind of created something with her and you kind of got to keep things in order. That's different. But that's only after you get it. Sometimes these guys are acting like that before they got it in an effort to get it, right? You're acting like an a-hole to get it, not because you already got it. So, the way it lines up, it just it doesn't translate well to me. And as a result, culture plays a major part in that. We're talking about the Philippines, baby. A culture that was predicated with the harana. You know what I mean? Guys going up to windows and singing to girls and shit. Just serenade these bitches, bum. Getting them panties wet. That's where we started from. We ain't there now no more, of course. But, we're talking about a culture that started out pure, like, the dating was all about love and interest. We talk about a courting system wherein a guy could court a female. You're not even officially in a relationship. This girl is still being able to exercise her options. Oh, well, thank you for buying me these gifts and thank you for courting me. This is the period before she actually chooses who she's going to be with. It's kind of like an episode of The Bachelor. You either get the rose or you don't get the rose. You feel me? That's kind of what courting is like. You get the rose, you get to move on to the next round with like 5 other dudes, right? So that's what the courting system was all about, and it definitely favored the female. This is the culture we're talking about. Again, we may not be in these times right now, but there's still some subtleties that exist in the dating scene or the, hooking up scene, whatever you want to call it. It still exists somewhat in the Philippines. It may come off a little bit different, or it may have diversified or innovated over time. But they still do exist to an extent. Just rock with me and I'll get to it. So, we're talking about a culture who believes in the harana and the courting and all of this shit. A culture who, everywhere that you go, love songs are playing. Old school love songs specifically. Not a lot of the new school stuff, but a lot of old school songs. Your Brian McKnight's, your Mariah Carey's, your soft rock type of music and stuff like that. That's very prominent in the country. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, culture has everything to do with it. It has a lot to do with everything. There are liberated Filipinas, right? But you're not going to get them by being, complete a-holes to them. You're not going to get them that way. Talk to them like you're normal, Hi, hello, my name is. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can talk sometime. Maybe we can hang out sometime. Start from there. They get that. They understand that. All right? But I don't believe you're going to build rapport or get yourself in a position to get yours by following the same rules that a lot of guys follow in the U.S. I'm not going to say that some things don't translate, but the majority of them do not. Okay? And that's purely based on the type of women you're dealing with. You got to understand the mindset of a woman in the West. Most of us understand the mindset of women in the West. Most of us. The mindset of women in the East, completely different things. Completely different. Trust me, it's completely different. I learned this the easy way. I've seen people fail miserably trying the exact same things that they tried in the United States and the Philippines. That's how I know that things don't necessarily translate well. The way that you talk, the way that you act, who you are as an individual in the United States, that type of energy that you keep, the confidence you keep, all that other shit gotta go. Because you're not dealing with the same type of women. And as a result, I kind of feel like anybody who talks down to a dude who chooses to travel and, explore, possibly date women abroad, even though I'm saying I don't really encourage guys just to go abroad to date, but to just explore and get to immerse themselves in different cultures, just me. You can't get mad at them for doing that. All right? Besides, man, this is yours over here. If this is the West, man, you keep that, man. That's your playground. You have your fun. You do your thing. Let us who want to be over here stay over here. Somebody said something to me the other day in a live chat that I thought was very pertinent. They were like, Doc, the reason why they have this discouraging demeanor towards guys who travel is because they're going to lose their market if they do that. Because PUA and all that game shit, you don't need it in the Philippines. You feel me? You don't necessarily need that stuff in the Philippines. that stuff is needed in the United States and it may work in the United States dealing with Western women, or yeah, not even just women in the United States, but women in the West, period. It may work for them, but ideally they have only been able to create these coaching sessions and things based around women in one particular country. That shit ain't worldwide. You know, that shit is not global. So as a result, they got to keep those guys in this particular culture over here with the women in the West. They don't know how to talk to guys who are probably dealing with women in the East. People can vouch for that. I seen it with my own eyes. I said, yep, knew that wasn't going to work very well. The reason it's not going to work very well is because most Filipinos don't think that way, or they're not built that way. The way that they see their relationship between their mother and fathers kind of dictate the type of relationship that they should want to have. Again, Filipinos got their own damn problems, you know. But ideally, you know, your mother and father are there. You see the way your mom takes care of your father and all of that shit in most traditional, well-brung up households. You see how mom treats the father, and that's what they want for their man, or that's what they want with their man. Ideally, father is not out here, you know, probably in front of the daughter treating her like shit. You know what I'm saying? He's probably not being an asshole to mom or anything like that. So she sees that. She knows that's not the way that it's supposed to be. So if she see you acting like that, the foreigner man trying to come in and trying to regulate shit, acting like you run shit, when you really don't run shit, you start to see a difference. You start to see women like retreat from you. And then you start to get this reputation. And trust me, your reputation will get around very, very quickly. Nobody wants to talk to him. He's kind of rude. He's a little mean. He's not a nice person. And I don't like him, and I don't think you should hang out with him. Trust me. You think they're gonna take the word of you over a Filipino? Wouldn't bet my last centavo on that one, my guy. So when I tell you things don't necessarily translate well for some things, I mean it. And the reason I say that is because you have to come through with a completely different agenda and a completely different mindset when you deal with women in different countries. Same with if I was going to go to Thailand or a place like Japan, South Korea, you know, anywhere in Europe. Yeah, maybe Europe. You know, your mindset's got to change in different areas because you got to know how to not necessarily approach, but how to cold approach. I mean, if it's necessary to do so. Okay? Now, if you enjoyed this video, ladies and gentlemen, good job putting in that work tonight. Appreciate y'all doing whatever you do for me. I appreciate you dropping a like, man, subscribes, notifies, all my good stuff in the description area below. If you want to support in any capacity, there's a heart down there that says thank you. Put a couple dollars on the Good Doc's book. I promise you it'll go to a good cause. I got Patreons, man, with exclusive content that nobody really sees unless you're a part of the exclusive crowd. Trust me, good shit in both of them. You pick your poison, ladies and gentlemen. They both equally have some good shit. All right, so I'm going to leave you with that, ladies and gentlemen. It has been fun, has been real, but it's time for the Good Doc to go and get the getting. So with that being said, Good Doc is officially out. At least knuckle, which means I am going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Sincerely do. Makita. Mabuhay. Peace.